The fastest way to buy Bitcoin in Australia from an exchange you can trust. Bitcoin.com.au.
Blockchain technology, it's clear we are seeing something quite revolutionary that's going to change the world.
I don't need recognition. I'm on a mission. I'm paying dues. I'm in position. I'm staying up. It's getting late. You're doing good. I'm doing great.
It's a huge push to connect the physical world with the blockchain.
It's always a good idea for investors to make the trend the trend.
You're doing good. I'm doing great.
Welcome to Coincast TV. On tonight's show, why Chinese blockchain companies and exchanges are looking to Australia. How a golfing legend is getting behind a luxury property deal backed by crypto. And one less reason to avoid a dentist. You can now use Bitcoin to pay the bill. But first, let's take a look at the week in blockchain with Kema Johnson.
Internationally, it's been an interesting week in crypto. There have been crackdowns across Asia, with both China and India taking a hard line on digital currencies. While China is continuing to hold a hard line on crypto, the Reserve Bank of India is reportedly open to a regulated market. And Thailand's anti-money laundering service is in talks to create a digital wallet so it can investigate crypto-related cybercrime. Over to Turkey and Venezuela, where there's been some heavy trade this week. In response to high inflation rates, locals are increasingly turning to cryptocurrencies as a store of value and a means of exchange. Meanwhile, in Australia, the ASX has delayed plans for its blockchain-inspired replacement system. It's now expected in mid-2021. And in other news, IBM has quietly unveiled its Stellar-based blockchain payment network. It's called Blockchain WorldWire, and it uses crypto to facilitate international settlements between banks in near real time. Back to you, Chris.
A growing number of Chinese crypto trading exchanges are making the move to Australia, attracted to its pro-blockchain regulatory environment. It's a huge opportunity for the land down under that's expected to bring millions of dollars of investment.
In Sydney's new financial district, Barangaroo, Chinese blockchain companies are busy setting up their new offices. It's a multi-billion-dollar opportunity for Australia.
They are very supportive of this, and of course, the Australian government is obviously blockchain friendly.
Zhao Chen from CSJ Legal Group says China sees blockchain technology as one of the great big trends.
President Xi's words has also been reiterated by the state-owned TV channel, CCTV, as blockchain technology is actually 10 times more important than the internet itself.
It's not just Australia that's appealing. Chinese companies are taking up opportunities right around the world, establishing a network of crypto hotspots.
They will actually look overseas opportunities, jurisdictions like Singapore, Thailand or other East European countries, even the Gibraltar and Japan, and of course Australia.
While a supportive, blockchain-friendly government is a key deciding factor for Chinese crypto trading exchanges, it's the Asia-Pacific location and leading position at the start of the world's financial world clock that makes Australia so appealing. The Australian Stock Exchange is the first major market to open each day. That's followed by Tokyo, then Hong Kong. London's exchange follows, then the US. Chen says that's vital for a nation of people who like to rise early and be productive, because in a business sense, that cultural practice is no different.
Those listed companies, particularly with the financial trading background, like let's say Forex trading, they see this as an enormous business opportunity.
And gone are the days of setting up an office overseas with just 3 or 4 people. Welcoming a Chinese blockchain company means the creation of local jobs.
They would have their own marketing team, business team, compliance team, IT team, everything, because they all want to base all these teams in Australia.
A new gaming token is set to revolutionize the multi-billion-dollar online gaming industry. PlayChip is built by the team at fantasy sports platform PlayUp, and already has 1 million users.
So PlayUp is the parent company to the Play Chip. The Play Chip is a universal token for sports betting, gaming, fantasy sports and esports. The interesting thing about the Play Chip is that it's a currency that allows people to frictionlessly operate within our growing ecosystem of gaming and sports betting apps. It is a growing ecosystem because we had around 500,000 users just 4 months ago. We've grown to 1 million users already, and we're projecting forecast of around 4 million users by the end of next year. We've acquired several companies in the last few months, and in fact just recently we acquired a US company called 123 Gaming purely in tokens. So I think it's the first ever example of a cryptocurrency or a blockchain enabled company using its own token to purchase a registered company in the United States. With the token we allow for instant cash out. What we're actually doing is something quite unique. We're building our own wallet and our own exchange. This means that an all-in-one app you can essentially do one KYC, which is one Know Your Customer, one AML, give you your identity, and then you can operate or you can use the Play Chip in any of this expanding ecosystem. You can connect your credit card, you can connect your bank account, you can connect your other cryptocurrencies, bet within the purchase of Play Chips, bet within the growing ecosystem, get your winnings, cash out, straight back into your credit card, straight back into other cryptocurrencies. So it's a really seamless all-in-one product, which is making the whole interface with the crypto world and the traditional world a much smoother one. We have a freemium business model. So we have these free-to-play apps. PlayUp.com is our parent site, and the PlayUp app is a free-to-play daily fantasy sports app. This is available anywhere in the world. You can download it in India and China, all over the place, even in protected markets, because it's not gambling. We are in pre-sale right now for our ICO, for our token offering, from June 1st until October 31st. We encourage people to come to our website, which is playchip.global. We have a range of documents in about 13 different languages that can explain exactly what we're about from a business perspective and the business case, through to the technology and the technical aspects of how the blockchain is actually being built and how it will facilitate a smoother and better gaming environment for everyone. So we're really quite unique in the marketplace in the fact that we already have a token, and we've had a token for some time. Our parent company, PlayUp, a free-to-play fantasy sports platform, has a Play Chip already. So this Play Chip is not currently a cryptocurrency. What we're doing is we're turning it into a cryptocurrency to allow it to be utilized within the expanding ecosystem of apps that we own and that we're acquiring and that we're partnering with.
Let's take a look at the top cryptocurrencies of the week, brought to you by Caleb and Brown. The crypto market dropped late in the week as rumors surfaced that longtime crypto supporter Goldman Sachs was scratching its crypto trading desk. Before that, it looked like blue skies ahead. After a steady recovery from the lows from the last few weeks, it seems Bitcoin has begun a price decline once again. However, leading privacy cryptocurrency Monero saw positive gains. The value increase came after speculation around funds from a large inactive Bitcoin wallet. The funds are reportedly being moved into Monero. Holochain continued its price rally as one of the top performing cryptos for the past 3 weeks. Holochain has climbed all the way to rank in the top 50 largest cryptocurrencies. Chinese smart contract platform Neo performed well during the market correction this week after they experienced a very compressed price. And the crypto spotlight of the week, Binance Coin, the utility token for the world's largest crypto exchange. With the potential for another downturn, this token has historically performed well in holding value during market corrections. Up next, how a great white shark in crypto are helping to revive a forgotten island getaway.
You're doing good, I'm doing great.
Welcome back. Let's head to Sydney, where investors and startups met up this week to talk about the future of blockchain. Our reporter Heidi Cuthbert was at the Crypto Investment and ICO Summit.
So we're here in Sydney at the Crypto Investment and ICO Summit, brought to you by Quest Events. And we have a bunch of fantastic Australian projects showcasing their technology to investors, institutional investors from here in Australia, but also investors who've come from overseas.
really trying to get people that aren't just blockchain investors and those invested in crypto before, but those from your big traditional investment funds that are potentially looking to move into this space either now or in the near future, and looking to really bring crypto into their portfolio.
A key theme of the conference is connecting traditional investors or some of the sophisticated investors with some of the new technologies and new ways of raising funds in the blockchain space.
So I think the investors here today are looking at these projects and going, look, I don't understand the industry and I certainly don't understand where the money moves and how fast it moves, but I do understand the drive behind these founders and the fact that the pictures of rebuilding the internet of value makes sense to me. So I think there's an alignment there.
And so the event has been attended by people from all over the world. We've got people from Korea, from China, from Hong Kong, from Singapore, all here to have a look at this new technology and how it might be an interesting or investment opportunity, or something at least to take a second look at.
It's a grassroots movement, there's no one behind it, there's no one that owns Bitcoin. So I think that's reassuring to a lot of investors, and more people will move into the space and will become holders of last resort.
And Sydney, of course, being Australia's investment capital, it just makes sense to introduce a whole new world of investment opportunities to investors here in Sydney. Back to you.
A long-neglected island paradise off the Australian coast is about to get a crypto-funded revival. Great Keppel Island has been closed for more than a decade, but with the backing of a golfing legend, its redevelopment is finally going ahead.
His mop of sun-bleached hair and aggressive golfing style saw Greg Norman nicknamed the Great White Shark in his playing days. Nowadays, the man who was the world's best golfer for most of the 80s and 90s is having a swing at crypto.
Great Keppel Island is a magnificent asset, and when you have an island with 17 pure white beaches, you can maximize that. When people are coming to invest into anything, they want to look at all the amenities that come with that investment.
This is how it'll work. Investors will be invited to buy Great Keppel Island tokens in return for a stake in the resort. Called a security token offering, it's like an initial public offering for shares and will fund the $300 million development. The tokens will be tradable on existing crypto exchanges, but unlike other cryptocurrencies, they'll be backed by the value of the resort, which the group behind the deal says will be worth billions once complete. The world-class development will include a premium beachfront hotel, 750 private villas, 300 luxury apartments, a marina, commercial airport, a retail precinct, and the Greg Norman designed golf course.
When they look at a 5-star luxury resort on the Great Barrier Reef, they're going to see that there's no other opportunities ever will be allowed to take place.
If all goes to plan, construction of the resort will start next year, making it the largest integrated development within the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park. It's not the first time we've seen the property development community look to digital currency. Acre Assets is developing a platform that lets investors use crypto to buy fractional ownership in Australian property. Noah Ark Technologies is also developing a crypto-powered resort in the Philippines. And people have started buying and selling their homes via Bitcoin as well. It seems digital currency could well be on its way to becoming the norm in property exchanges.
Let's take a look at the top ICOs to watch, brought to you by CTIA.
Closing next week is the round 1 token sale for transaction platform Neon Exchange. And while the public sale has closed for Quadrant, the protocol, hoping to close the gap on data, its token is expected to list on 2 of the top 5 exchanges soon. In other news, P-Chain is expected to launch its testnet for its native multi-chain system next week. The system supports the Ethereum virtual machine. Now taking a look at previous ICOs, blockchain startup Orbs was listed as one of the most successful pre-sales earlier this year. The Ethereum skating protocol raised $118 million and is currently in preparation for its public sale. Back to you, Chris.
Coming up, why Australia is improving regulation in the crypto space. And Bitcoin burning a hole in your pocket? We'll show you some cool ways to spend it. That's next. The Australian Digital Commerce Association has launched a new regulatory code of conduct for cryptocurrencies. Its managing director spoke with Heidi, about what it all means.
I'm joined now by Nick Giurietto from the Australian Digital Commerce Association here in. So Nick, if you can you start by telling me about ADCA's new code of conduct?
So ADCA's working on a code of conduct for token issuers in Australia. And the goal there is to help create some extra certainty and confidence in these emerging markets. ASIC's provided some really valuable guidance on their perspective, but we feel that there's still an opportunity to improve market knowledge and market transparency, and it's up to the industry to step up and take that responsibility. So the code of conduct will set some best practice benchmarks that, irrespective of the discussion around a security or utility token, will actually help someone who's putting their money into a token offering understand, is this well governed, is it transparent, does it meet appropriate levels of disclosure, so that we can see money going into well designed, well executed and well governed projects.
So Nick, token sales are fundamentally changing the way that businesses access funds. Can you explain the difference between a token sale and traditional equity markets?
Well, I think token sales in many ways go back to the way capital markets were supposed to operate when they first emerged. Well designed and well executed, a token offering is highly efficient, highly transparent, high governance, and importantly, it's very democratic in that it allows people who often can't participate in the markets today to participate in these new markets.
So regulation in the space is increasing. Do you think that that's going to mean we're going to see more or less money flowing to blockchain companies?
Well, I think there's two parts to that question. Firstly, it's the underlying blockchain innovations themselves, and we're seeing more and more exciting ideas emerging using blockchain. So there's a core driver which says, yes, we should see more funds flowing into those types of innovations. The role of regulation is going to be quite important in that. If we get the balance right, we can maximise the strengths that this new approach to fundraising brings, and that will allow us to see that funds flow where it should to these new investments. If we get the regulatory balance wrong, it could act as a barrier for a little while until we correct for that.
Do you think there's a risk of too much regulation?
Look, not necessarily too much regulation. I think what we need to be concerned about is the wrong type of regulation. The principles that underlie the regulatory approaches in the existing capital markets are sound principles. What we need to look at quite clearly is how this new technology and this new approach can better deliver on those same principles like transparency and disclosure and such on, but perhaps in a more efficient way. So it's about getting that balance right and having the imagination not just to pick up existing models in detail and apply them to the new sector, but more about taking those principles, rethinking how to apply them in a new and better way to this new space.
There seems to be a shift away from utility tokens to security tokens. What's that going to mean for the market?
To be honest, I think the whole distinction between utility and security tokens was a little bit of a missed journey. The important thing is, if you are going to be raising funds to build a business, how can you do that in an efficient way and in a way that lets the people who are putting their money into the business know what they're getting involved in. Now, the distinction between utility and security, I think, will start to actually evaporate if we get that right.
Nick Giurietto from the Australian Digital Commerce Association, thank you for joining us in Sydney. Back to you.
Now let's take a look at the week ahead with Tessa Dempster.
Popular Japanese messenger app Line has released its own cryptocurrency. Line is currently building its token economy, but has plans to build its own blockchain mainnet in the near future. The founder of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, is off to Hong Kong for a global non-profit conference. The crypto heavyweight made headlines earlier this week after a paper was released co-written by Buterin that suggested that free riders were a threat to the crypto ecosystem. And an Austrade delegation is off to the Wangzhang conference in China next week. Back to you, Chris.
You can buy a lot of cool stuff these days with crypto. Beer, burgers, even a Rolex watch. Now Bitcoin is making your visit to the dentist a little less painful.
It wasn't that long ago that most people hadn't even heard of crypto. Our spending habits were dictated by whether a retailer had an EFTPOS machine, and if they didn't, where the closest ATM was. But that's all well and truly in the past. Nowadays, you can book flights and hotels with Bitcoin, or aim a little higher and spend it on space travel. But how's this for a really sensible way to spend crypto? Some dentists are now accepting it as payment, taking the sting out of your dental bill.
Well, dentist bills are notoriously known as being quite expensive and difficult to pay for, so having more flexibility in offering cryptocurrency I can only see as a valuable addition to the payments we already offer.
Dr. Luke Cronin from Quality Dental says it's simply another way for people to spend their digital coins.
Well, I think with cryptocurrency there's an issue at the moment where people are having difficulty spending it in retail and at point of sale, and I think that's going to change.
There are plenty more practical ways to spend your crypto. Bitcoin debit is just one example of a crypto debit card, which many consider to be the missing link between the crypto market and the traditional market space. The merchant only receives fiat currency, which means you can use your crypto debit card at any retailers that accept cards such as Visa. The Welto platform allows users to pay bills directly from their Bitcoin wallet. It has immediate transaction times, and you can even use a combination of crypto and fiat currency. Lastly, the Living Room of Satoshi is an Australian-based crypto bill payment system that's already seeing a lot of use. And yes, you can pay your bills directly from your Bitcoin wallet. If in doubt, just ask your service provider if they accept crypto.
Thank you for joining us. Want to know more about the stories in tonight's show? Go to Coincasttv.com. You can find us on Apple TV, and you can catch some of our stories on the Wall Street Journal online. Coincast TV is on Sky News Business every Friday at 7:30 p.m. Until next week, keep hodling.
I don't need recognition. I'm on a mission. I'm paying dues. I'm in position. I'm staying up. It's getting late. You're doing good. I'm doing great. Recognition. I'm on a mission.